Well, hello everybody. So we've recently been looking at marketing and sales, and today we're going to look at time. I don't know if you had a chance to have a quick look at the video, the Rubik's Cube video, but it's worth a look and to think and reflect on what that young lad did in order to be able to win the world record in that way. Anyway, time is one of the biggest challenges we face in our business. When we start a business, we're absolutely committed to making it work, to making money, putting money on the table. And if we worked for somebody else, we've probably brought across with us the mindset that the more money we earn relates to the amount of time we put in. So if things are a little bit tough, we work a bit harder. But if we want to build a business that's efficient and can work without us, then we've got to think differently about our time management. And today we're going to look at just touch on a few aspects of time mastery. So let's just start with some straightforward time management tips. And this comes around the idea that actually time is about priorities. You know, we all have 24 hours in a day. Nobody can steal time from us. It doesn't get away from us. We all have the same budget. So it really just comes down to how we use our time during the course of the day. So top 5 management issues for time. We often get a buzz from being busy. You know, it gives us a thrill. If we feel we're doing something, then surely we are being productive, and that is very misleading. We can also fall into the trap of taking on too much. Sometimes we find it very difficult to say no. People ask us to do things, or there are other priorities that are being pushed on us from other people, and we try and take them on board and just work a little harder or a little faster. Maybe we would say that we can multitask, but without going into too much detail, I can tell you for a fact there is no such thing as multitasking. Multitasking assumes you can do 2 or more things at the same time. The brain can only process one thing at a time. What it's actually doing is flipping between the 2 or 3 things that you're trying to do when you're multitasking. And that's about 40% less efficient, even when you're doing it well, than just focusing on one thing at a time. So it's worth making a note of that. We fail to analyse how our time is being used. We have systems within Action Coach that help business owners analyse their time, what it's being spent on, what is urgent, what is important, what is the difference between the two, and what is actually just soaking up our time and not doing anything productive whatsoever. We need to analyse our time. You'll be surprised. You may feel you know what you do with your day and your week, but when you actually break it down to what you actually do, you're likely to get a very different story. We don't manage distractions very well for various reasons. It may be that we're too polite to turn away interruptions, or we lack the self-discipline, perhaps, to focus on the key things. And again, there are clear strategies around that. And we're not planning time for tasks. So the important things that need to be done in the business need to take priority and have a time budget allocated to them. So here are the symptoms of having poor time management. So rate yourself. No one is going to know how you judge yourself, so feel free, knock yourself out. Poor punctuality, rushing, impatience, poorly defined goals, procrastination, poor performance, lack of energy, perfectionism. So if any of those apply to you, then it's the time is right, if you excuse the pun, to start looking at these areas and seeing what we can do to improve them. So here's the steps to time mastery. Most of us want to be doing the urgent and important stuff, the demand stuff in this time target that you can see on the screen. Urgent and important means that it has to be done within a limited time. That's the urgency, and it will have impact on our business or our customers, and that's the important part of it. And we like to do that. That's where we feel comfortable. And to be fair, most of our business is going to be built around the urgent and important. What you're doing today by watching this video and thinking about your business and where it's going to go and what it could be for you, what you can do to improve it, actually puts you in the not urgent but nevertheless important area of the time target. We call that the zone. It's where the strategic thinking takes place. And it's important to have as much time in that area as you can spare. Urgent but not important things are quite honestly a delusion. somebody else's urgency probably, but of no benefit to our business. And if it's not urgent or not important, then it's a distraction. So I hope that illustration makes sense. And what we need to do is make sure that we are analysing our time effectively. We are planning to make changes so that we can spend more time in the zone and in the urgent and important areas and not in the others. And where necessary, delegating away those tasks that are draining our energy and draining our time budget. So finally, where it's about self-management, it's about us making the decision and putting into place the plan, the to-do lists, the daily to-do lists, the plan for the week, synchronizing with our calendar, all of those kinds of things. It's up to us to manage that. Okay, so there are 3 areas to time management. So it should become clear now that self-mastery is one of them. We need to prioritize the activities that are most important to us. There's a fantastic book by Brian Tracy. It's got an odd name. It's called Eat That Frog. Some of you may have heard of it, but it's widely regarded as one of the best pieces of time management in the world that's ever been written. It's not a big book. It's called Eat That Frog, but essentially the frog being a non-tasty breakfast treat. It's about getting the things out of the way that we really would rather not do, but are the most important things to get done. And there's a whole range of tips in that book about how we might do that. Planning mastery is about how we look at our week and our month, and how we break things up. So if you wake up with the day and you go into the day without any particular structure and you end it feeling exhausted, then it's a clear indication that your planning mastery needs to improve. What are the priorities for the day? What are your allocated slots? Now, in reality, we understand that the outside world crashes in. However, we need to move on the journey to have improved organization. It is possible to only make yourself available at certain times of the day for certain things. It is possible to take the phone off the hook, to excuse an old phrase, put it on mute or silent. It is possible to make those changes to enable us to have better planning for the use of our time. We just got to make the decision to do so. And then, as a business owner, you wear many hats. Operations, sales, marketing, HR, all of those things, delivery. But what can be delegated away so that we're using our time more productively and, more importantly, turning what we're good at, the high value, high hourly rate activities, turning to those activities and delegating away those things that can be done by other people and possibly be done better than ourselves. So I hope that's given you some food for thought on time mastery. I would suggest into your journals that you make a decision what 1 or 2 things you could do over the next couple of weeks to improve how you manage your time, and just start small, just start there. As I've said before, if this is of interest to you and you really want to dig into this properly and spend some quality time on that, then let me know. We do have a couple of events coming up that you may be interested in, that you can jump on and really get to grips with this aspect of your business along with others. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow for day 7.